Has this fall been any different for you going in now, knowing that you're potentially going to be competing for a starting job versus last year, where you're just trying to get your feet wet with this program, maybe not sure where you stand? Just what kind of been the biggest differences from this year to last year for you?
I think the biggest difference is just knowing the playbook, knowing my responsibilities and my jobs. Last year, I felt like I was having to think a lot, and I didn't just get to play. And I think this year, the mindset's still the same every day. You got to come in and work. But this year, I've just been focusing on playing and having fun. I'm playing the game I love. I'm blessed to be able to come out here and do this with my friends, my best friends. So the mindset is just that you got to come out and play every day, play hard and have fun.
Did last year exceed your expectations in any way? I don't know if you planned to not redshirt or what you were hoping for, given that there was a lot of depth at the safety position and experience. But what did last year? What were your expectations going into the year, and did that exceed it at all in terms of the amount of snaps you were able to see?
Yeah, the goal for me was to see the field last year, whether that be on defense or on special teams. I just wanted to be able to touch the field and help contribute in any way possible. So did it exceed my expectations? Not necessarily. My goal was to get there. So I think that just prepared me for this year. Being able to get on the field, and, get some live action, be in the live fire. So I think this year now is just taking that next step forward and keep on.
What comes with just suiting up and playing this game in front of 80,000 plus people? Like you said, live fire against Big Ten level athletes. What comes with that from year one to year two? Just kind of getting thrown into the fire and getting your feet wet.
Yeah, you got to keep your composure. We got a lot of older guys, Herbig, Keanu, who have been there, and they know what it's like to play in front of the biggest crowds and the biggest stadiums. So we got to keep our composure, and it's those guys that kind of help all the young guys calm down a little bit, keep us all ready. But then you just got to be ready to go. You got to be ready when the pads come on and it's time to play. Knowing your responsibility and being there mentally, so that you can't just play loose and play free.
Do you like the combination with you and John? It feels like two guys that can either play in the box or roll in the back end. Did you just kind of like the versatility of that tandem, or what are your kind of thoughts about that?
Yeah, I love playing with Torch. He's probably one of the smarter guys that I've ever seen on a football field. He's just very savvy and very smooth when it comes to playing ball. So learning from him, learning kind of what goes through his head on each play, how he sees each formation, it's a lot of fun, because then he helps me and I help him out a little bit, and then we kind of can contrast each other in that way. One of us can roll down and the other can roll back, and I think that we work really well together, and I think it's going to be a good year.
Is there any type of learning curve for this, not just the safeties, but the secondary and in general? I mean, besides from you and Torchio and limited action, you guys haven't played together. It's a bunch of guys mixed in from different schools, especially at cornerback. What's that been like, just to try and get that chemistry down and get on the same page, especially when you're talking about guys who have to learn this defense inside and out still?
Yeah, it's been fun. All the guys that we have brought in and all the young guys that we have gel really well together. Our DB room is great. The vibes are great every day in there. Everyone's smiling. We get along really well. So we're a very tight-knit group. So I think that's just making it easy to communicate, talk to each other every day, get checks, get calls, all that kind of stuff. So, it's been a lot easier than you'd think, getting these guys to, getting everyone to really mesh together and gel together. It's been fun.
I know you got to focus on this year, but from what we've seen in fall camp, looks like you guys may have something with Austin and Avion Jones as well, who kind of stood out. Ricardo played as a true freshman. Does that kind of get you excited for the long-term future of the secondary? Seeing what those guys have been able to do early in their careers.
Yeah, it's extremely exciting. Like you said, there's been a lot of young guys that have shown out this fall, that have been making plays and have been flying around. So they're still learning, but right now, we love seeing them just go out there and play. knowing the playbook as well as they do already, it's been really good for them just to make plays, fly around, gain some confidence, so that when they do get thrown in there during games, they can just play freely and make plays for us.
A lot of guys year 1 to year 2 tend to see a lot of gains in the weight room, just getting in a strength and conditioning program at the collegiate level. What was your off season like? In terms of weights you were able to start throwing around or adding muscle.
The off season was good. I started to feel really comfortable around the team, around the weight staff, around the coaches, so I could ask a lot more questions. Am I doing this right? Am I doing that right? But also just for me mentally and physically, like just gaining more confidence too. I've worked hard. I put all this work in, and to see it pay off in the weight room, it gives you confidence that you can go out and compete every single day on the field and not have to worry about if I'm big or fast or whatever. So it was a really good off season for not only me but for the whole team. So this, I think, there's a lot of dudes that can play, a lot of dudes that had a huge off season. So it's going to be interesting to see who separates themselves and who plays on Saturdays.
Were there any specific testing numbers you were particularly proud of?
Here and there, some of the running ones, pro agility type stuff, some of the lifts, power clean, some of those. Just happy with those.
And then, obviously not the weight you probably wanted to win the job, but seeing Travion go down in the spring, how did the secondary just kind of react to that? Knowing that was a guy that's kind of paid his dues and was looking like he was, finally ready to get his shot here.
Yeah, it hurt. Trey he's the glue to our secondary. He's one of the leaders of this team. A guy like that who's been working his whole career, has been dealing with injuries his whole career. Seeing him go down like that, it hurts us to see him, have to struggle like that. Because we know how much that he would have meant to this team this year. But his mindset hasn't changed. He's still gonna do his stuff off the field to get back and healthy and play with this team. And he still comes in every day with that smile on his face, with that mindset that it's time to get back to work. And he's unique in the fact that he doesn't feel bad for himself. He walks in the building and puts a smile on everyone's face. There's a brightness about him that is infectious. And it's huge for this team seeing a guy like that come in every day, work, and still be able to be the leader that he is.
You guys lost a lot from your defense last year, and I'm sure people on the outside question whether you can replace some of the guys that did leave at all positions pretty much. Is there any reason to think this defense won't carry on as business as usual? Have you liked what you've seen in fall in terms of carrying that standard forward?
Yeah, we just had a defensive meeting the other day, and Coach Leonard said it. There's a standard. There's a standard for the defensive room that we're going to go out there every week and take care of business. That we're going to go out and dominate every single week. So we know what the standard is, and it's up to us if that we're going to make those plays and do the things that we need to do to make that happen.
I know it's a small sample size for your career, but why do you think year in and year out, no matter who leaves this program, this defense continues to produce at an elite level?
Having Coach Leonard helps. He is, probably the best or one of the best DCs in the country. So having him helps a lot. But then everyone knows what it's like. Knows that we've been a top 10, top 5, top 3 defense for the last how many years. So everyone knows what we have to live up to. Everyone knows that it's up to them to make it happen, and people are going to hold each other accountable and do what they have to do to get everyone there.
Going back to your recruitment, what just sold you on coming here? Obviously, being an in-state guy helps, but you had some opportunities to play at some of the premier programs in college football. In the end, what was it about this defense or this program that you wanted to stay home?
Once again, Coach Leonard, having him be the DC and the safety coach, was really appealing. Having one of the best in the business, coaching you every day, but also just the family atmosphere. I don't think there's many places in the country that you can go to and feel like you belong from day one. And you can tell that it's a true brotherhood. Everyone cares for each other. It's a family thing. So that's what really was appealing to me, is just that these these are going to be my brothers, and these are the guys that I'm going to be around all day, every day. And to feel like you belong from day one, it's comforting, I guess.
You were part of that 2021 class that, I know recruiting rankings aren't end all be all, but it was the best in school history. It counts for something. I know it doesn't matter when you get here and you put the pads on, but a lot of you guys just talked about doing something different at Wisconsin and getting it over that hump. How much is that still the message inside the locker room with you guys like Braylon, Rucci, Riley Mallman? I mean, how much is that still talked about in terms of taking this program to another level down the road?
It's talked about every day. Not only my class, but all the classes above me and the class below me. Everyone wants to, and I think has to and will get over that hump. We know that Wisconsin. I mean, we haven't won a Big Ten championship since 2012, so it's time that we need to put this program back at the top where it belongs. And everyone knows that, and everyone's been working their tails off for it. So it's definitely talked about. We all know what we have to do to get to that point. And I think we have the opportunity to go do it.